What's going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Now, I'm not going to bring any TA. We're going to go over that tomorrow because I think we're going to have a very interesting day on Monday, especially seeing what's going on with the stocks, Bitcoin losing critical levels. But I just wanted to make a super fast update, just some real Bitcoin talk. You know, I know there's been some people that are very new to the space. These types of moves can be a little bit scary. I mean, a 10%, 12%, 15% move really is nothing historically for Bitcoin. I remember when I first got in, Bitcoin would literally make 30% drawdowns, you know, pretty much every other week. I mean, if you actually look back at just the 2017 chart, you could see that there are multiple times in which we did in fact have these 30+% drawdowns, right? So it's just part of the game. You know, Bitcoin is still young. It is still has that volatility, and unfortunately it still does follow the traditional stocks. People tend to consider it a tech stock, right? So when the S&P falls, Bitcoin kind of falls down with it. It's just part of the game. But I have shown you guys on that log trend that anything underneath that legacy level is a phenomenal buying opportunity. Of course, not financial advice, but you have to realize the narratives that are going on in the space, right? For example, you have BlackRock coming out, everything pumps, the ETF, right? But then all of a sudden, all the news goes away. The SEC is pushing the grayscale, you know, kicking the can down the road, which, by the way, they do have 2 weeks to decide whether or not they're actually going to have that BlackRock ETF, which most people are assuming that they're probably going to deny it the first time, or not deny it, but push it off just to kind of, you know, seem like they're not playing favorites. But we all know at the end of the day, BlackRock is going to get it approved. And as Tom Lee was pointing out, you know, I'm not saying that crypto needs an ETF. I'm not saying that we're banking on the ETF. But what I am saying is when we do get this Bitcoin ETF approved, and it's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when, it's going to be insane, because you have to understand that these guys are going to have to actually physically hold that spot Bitcoin. Now, I told you we're having a liquidity crisis right now. We saw some of the lowest levels of Bitcoin on exchanges. The hodlers, the long-term holders, they're not selling, right? You've heard the saying, there's like 50 million whatever millionaires in the world, right? So that's not even enough for each one of them to get one Bitcoin. And also just think about that psychological number, right? One Bitcoin. Do you really think that if we do get an ETF that these guys are going to come in and they're just going to buy like 0.2 Bitcoin? No, because these guys, it's that psychology, right? They're going to want to hold one full Bitcoin because, you know, it's just how humans are. We like round numbers. So that's going to drive a lot of the price because there's not enough Bitcoin to actually go around. And once these guys start to understand that the halving is baked into this 4-year cycle, it's going to absolutely skyrocket.
If the spot Bitcoin gets approved,
yeah,
I think the demand will be greater than the daily supply of Bitcoin. And so the clearing price, this is done by Sean Farrell, who's our crypto digital strategist, is over 150,000. It could even be like 180,000.
So I just think it's funny, you know, whether you're looking to scoop up some Bitcoin down at 20K, are we going to get 20K? Maybe, possibly. I mean, we had a triple bottom back in 2015, right? So could we have a double bottom again? Of course, anything is possible, but don't let these fear mongers freak you out into losing interest or selling your Bitcoin to them, for example, right? We saw the same thing happen with Jamie Dimon, right? JP Morgan.
On September 12th, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud. He says he'll fire any one of his traders buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 24%. When Jamie Dimon speaks, people listen. So that weekend, we found out that the largest buyer of a Bitcoin fund that's in Europe that buys physical Bitcoin, right? The largest buyer was Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan. And that's not illegal.
he says it's a fraud.
Says he'll fire anyone that buys it. Yes.
And at the same time, his company is buying it.
His company is buying it.
It's just, I mean, so unethical.
So don't believe what these guys say. And, you know, it's funny how all the doom and gloom is being reported right now, but at the same time, we just had Caitlin Long's Custodia Bank, right? Which is essentially the first crypto bank pretty much going live in some of the states, right?
Well, the great thing is that the U.S. states can move forward, as I was alluding. Both New York and Wyoming are moving forward. We learned through the grapevine that the Fed did object to PayPal issuing its stablecoin, but New York approved it. And as you saw, PayPal and Paxos announced it. Congratulations to them. They're off to the races. So same thing with Custodia. We're off to the races with US dollars and money market fund services, and imminently Bitcoin custody as soon as we get the final regulatory approval. And we're not, to be clear, launched in all states, not licensed in all states yet, but we're ready for the next bull market. That's the punchline, ready to scale into that with both US dollar services, money market fund services, and then fingers crossed, Bitcoin custody soon.
So there are huge things happening in the background. Of course, Western society, we don't see it. It's a lot of speculation. But if you look at what they're doing in these other, if you look at these other countries, they're actually utilizing crypto. They're utilizing, Bitcoin and stable coins and things like that. Whereas it is a lot of speculation over here in the West. Okay, I will agree. But nevertheless, guys, it's not going to get put back into Pandora's box. And, if the U.S. doesn't want to get with it, well, it's tough for us because it's going to just keep moving. It's going to keep growing in places like the UAE, in places like Malta, these other crypto-friendly jurisdictions. And one other thing that I also just wanted to point out is if we actually look at the RSI, which I don't have a chart pulled up right now, but I'll show you guys tomorrow, the relative strength index is actually sitting lower than it was at the FTX crash, which is technically saying that, we're in oversold territory, so we should be due for possibly a bounce, right? We do have a CME futures gap up above, but I will get into all that tomorrow. We'll go over all the charts, everything. I just wanted to make a quick video. If you're feeling down, if you're freaked out, like, oh my God, I just sat there for 2 straight months only to watch the price fall. Yes, down to the levels that we knew it was going to fall to anyway. And we know that these are how these guys play these games, right? I forget who it was. Was it Soros or one of those guys when he was looking to buy copper? What did they do? They put out a bunch of FUD articles, right? Freaking everybody selling it so they could scoop up cheap. Don't let that happen to you guys. Not financial advice, but I've seen it time and time again. And it's like orchestrated. They're planning it every time. It's just a great opportunity. So for me, this is accumulation stage. I'm not going to be fooled by it. But you do you. Not financial advice. You guys are awesome. That's really all I wanted to say today. I love you guys. Hope you're having a great weekend. Tomorrow, I will be doing a full normal video. Sorry if the wind is sounding really bad in this microphone. It just got really windy. So until next time, guys, stay crypto. Check out these videos popping up right here, right now. And of course, peace out.